Hello and welcome to Raven's Arcana. I am Raven and we are going to perform a reading on the psyche. So your thoughts and emotions, and we'll deal out the thoughts portion of the reading on the top and the emotions on the bottom, and kind of see what you're working with, what you're working through, what you need to focus on, things of that nature. And I hope everyone's hanging in there, having a great day. And let's get in. This card just wants to come out into the reading, so we are going to put that out first. So with the thoughts portion of the reading about the psyche, we have the Queen of Wands, followed by the King of Cups and the Hierophant. So for focusing on your thoughts with the Queen of Wands, I think that you are very passionate. You think about achieving your goals. You thinking about feeding your soul, your passion a lot. And I think that might be something you work on all the time, meaning that you are not in a position where you feel like you are gathering the fuel to feed your passion for life. You might not be working in a job that fulfills your soul. You might not be participating in hobbies, arts, crafts, going out in nature, whatever it is that really lights the fire inside of you. You really think about that and ponder that all the time, and are trying to move towards having more activities or creating a path for yourself where you can actually use your talents, use your gifts, your blessings to produce results for yourself that, once again, provide fuel for that fire inside, that Leo divine spark energy. Now, with the King of Cups, I think that you do not have control over your emotions. I think they're kind of all over the place, and you think about that a lot. You know, it's a very emotional time in the world, regardless of where you live right now. And I think that pendulum that swings through the spectrum of emotions is just really going back and forth really fast. And you're trying to figure out your way, your path. And I think, going back to the Queen of Wands a little bit, I think the external, so society, politics, really everything, your relationships even, have influence over you. And you're in a state with your mind that you just can't really get a lot of clarity, a clear pathway. And as always, the emotions affect the thoughts affect the emotions. And I think you're bouncing back and forth with that. Now, with the Hierophant here, you want to get back to a traditional way that you approach life. You have faith that you can get back to that person. Now, we go through events, and if we're talking about the psyche, we go through events, interactions that affect us mentally, that we take forward a lot of stereotypes, a lot of pause, right? We don't want to put ourselves in a position where we have any loss, we have any sadness, any stress or anxiety. But you want to be that person. You want to look at things and think about the world the way you used to, right? We evolve, we get older, we go through these trials, we go through kind of the mental game in our lives, and hopefully we take forward that wisdom and are able to apply it. But I think you're taking a lot of the events in your past and you're carrying that with you, and you're applying it to certain situations that you might not need to. So getting back to that clarity of thought that you had when you were younger, that drove your passion, that gave you the willpower, the courage to move forward, where you had balanced emotions, and you don't really think about how it was going to affect you, meaning in a positive way. If you had a plan, if you had a goal, you put one foot in front of the other and just, you did it. You were confident, you were brave, you were gathering fuel to feed that passion, and you didn't think about how it was going to affect you emotionally because you were acting in a passionate, pure manner. And you want to get back to that. You don't want to have that jaded state of mind where you second guess yourself, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, and we have a lot of emotional things up top with the mind. So I think that you have been hurt. So if we're talking about relationships, you might not really approach relationships, friendships with a lot of trust. You might not approach positions, jobs, starting your own business with a lot of faith in yourself because you've had some loss, you've had some sadness, you've been denied advancement in your career, whatever that looks like. And that weighs on us. We take that with us when we're told no. And we think we're coming from that place of passion. Or you act with your heart and you think that's the purest form of action, which typically it is. And you don't get what you want. You don't maintain relationships. And this could be with friends, this could be with romantic partners, this could be with family. So what's affecting your thoughts currently is a fear of loss, a fear of failure, a fear that maybe what you're doing right now is not feeding that fire inside you. And it makes everything emotional, but you want to get back to that purity you had when you were younger. That feeds into how you were born, what you came here to do. And you had a clear vision, clear thoughts, clear plans. But as always, life derails us. And as usual, your thoughts affect your emotions. Your emotions affect your thoughts. And currently, with the Hanged Man over here, especially next to the Queen of Wands, your perceptions, your thoughts, your ideas, you feel like you're in a holding pattern. You also feel like, I think you've compromised too much of your passion, of your soul, of yourself, in whatever position you are in currently. And by position, I mean whatever relationship you're in, whatever your relationship goals are, whatever your soul clan, your friends, the people that you're close to, your job, your career, your business. I think you're in a moment of pause. And I think you do not trust your intuition. You do not trust that you're going to make sound decisions that are going to be beneficial for you, especially emotionally. And if you're in a state where you're not feeding your passion, and you have that pendulum swing all over, and you don't feel like you're being your true, authentic, passionate self, and you've lost a little confidence and faith in yourself, then the Hangman card is not a bad place to be. You recognize that you don't want to compromise yourself any more than you have to. We want to meet in the middle. We want to find balance. But if you give pieces of yourself all the time to achieve your goals, then it doesn't feel pure. It feels like you're losing a portion of yourself, and that affects you mentally, right? It leads to stress. And so sitting back and being able to analyze that you are carrying forward emotions that affect your thoughts and how you analyze situations, how you view opportunities, how you perceive a situation where you know you can fit in, you can conquer it, you can win, you can achieve your goals that feed into what you love, what fills you with joy. The Hanged Man is that pause. Now we need to work through the self-doubt, turning things in, telling yourself, I don't know if this is the best decision because I failed before. I don't know if I should get into this relationship or share my soul with another friend and bring them in because I've been hurt. I've been lied to. Someone was disloyal. You know, if we're talking about work, I've attempted to do all these things. I've given my blood, sweat, and tears to either a business or a company that you work for. And I think you have all the talent, but it's almost like someone took that from you and you didn't get credit, you didn't get promoted, you didn't get paid for it. And so I think a lot of this has to do with trust issues. One, about other people that you surround yourself with, maybe in relationships, or trusting that your ideas will result in fruition for yourself, meaning financial gain, promotion, stability. So you don't trust the external, you don't trust the situation or the people, and you also really right now don't trust your own thoughts currently, or your ideas or your plans. And a lot of that has to do with you're probably not in a place that is, filling your cup, right? That is feeding your soul, that is once again gathering fuel for that fire that you have inside of you to be successful, to be a conqueror, to be victorious, to get what you want. Now, for more clarification, going below the surface and focusing more on the emotional aspect of that, which once again, they're interconnected, obviously, in the psyche. We have the Eight of Wands. And I think emotionally, in the past, you have not really used the mind to analyze the situations, and you move really fast, possibly in relationships, possibly in taking positions, starting a business, getting a new job. You found opportunities, but they might not have been the best opportunity for you. I think there's a lot of quick movement without realizing or analyzing, is this something that is going to, fuel that divine spark? Is it going to bring me joy? Is it going to feed my passion? Is it going to work into my grand plan for my goals, for my dreams? If it's a relationship, is this person really someone I want to connect with on that deep of a level, whether it be romantic or whether it be a friend, right? So I think you move quickly, but I think it's misguided passion sometimes, meaning it feels right. It feels like it should be this way. It feels like the right thing to do. But the right thing to do and that initial feeling with emotions sometimes clouds our judgment, our actions, and ultimately the situation that we get ourselves into that results in stress, anxiety, depression, sadness, right? Now, underneath the Queen of Wands, we have the Four of Wands. And if we're talking about emotion, you are someone that is very loyal. You are someone that is very honest. You're someone that likes to share your victories, likes to share your passion, compassion, love with other people. And the Four of Wands with emotional stability, you put in so much effort emotionally into everything you do, which makes sense because of that spark inside of you. I don't think you do anything half-ass. I think you look for people, as we all do, that really balance us out, that really fill our emotional needs on that deep level. And I think you, when I said you move too fast, I think you give everything about yourself. You expose your soul to people. You put your heart and soul into work. Now, if we're not careful and we don't understand the situation, and it might not be the best career path for you or relationship for you, then sometimes that ends up, once again, where you have anxiety and stress and depression and loss. You're someone that goes full force into everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there has to be an aspect where there's a little bit of self-preservation in there, where you think through things. And sometimes we have to reel in the emotions that we show, right? It's almost like playing poker. If you have a full house and you know you're going to win the pot and you're trying to bet, you don't want it all over your face, or everyone else is going to fold in front of you. You wear your emotions on your sleeve. You love people. You love to be your best self. But your best self isn't always really what you are emoting, what you are showing to everyone else. I think you show your cards. If we're talking about poker, you show your cards, you wear your heart on your sleeve. And unfortunately, there are shitty people that will take advantage of that. Whether it be in relationships, and if you're in a job, in a position, in a business, in a partnership, or anything like that, if that person knows that 100% you're going to give it your all, you're going to put everything you have into everything you do, and they are the opposite type of that person, or they're lazy, or they're manipulative, then they will take advantage of the situation, and you're working your ass off while everyone else benefits. But eventually you get worn down. Eventually you realize you're carrying the load for everyone else. Eventually, in a relationship, in a friendship, that person realizes that you love them unconditionally. And we want to be that way. But if we move too fast, we don't think about or analyze and use both our thoughts and our hearts, right? Our emotions. And really think about cause and effect, then sometimes we get hurt. Because unfortunately, like I said, there's people that are going through things that might not want to be manipulative, that might not want to take advantage of you. That wasn't their initial goal. But unfortunately, it manifests that way. And I think you've experienced a lot of that. And this kind of doubles down with the Two of Cups, that you are someone that loves to share experiences. You love the connection with other people. And underneath that King of Cups, not having really control of your emotional state. And I'm not saying you're manic or anything like that, but I think you go at life with that trust, with that pureness of heart. And I think a lot of times the heart outweighs the mind for you. People do see you as loving and compassionate and caring and willing to do anything for them. And loving that connection and that interaction with people, whether it be colleagues, friends, or romantic relationships. I think it gets you into trouble. And I think that's why you second guess a lot of your decisions. And you're in this state, with the Hanged Man, where have I given too much of myself? Am I sacrificing too much? Am I giving too many puzzle pieces away of my puzzle that now I'm not complete anymore? And I try to put them back in and I'm jamming them in with my thumb and they don't fit. Now, underneath the Hierophant, we talked about getting back to that person that can jump into situations, go work towards their goals, feed that passion, move forward, be fearless, be brave, be courageous when everything seemed to work out for you. The Hermit is telling you, you got to do some introspection. You got to learn how to balance your thoughts and emotions. One, you have to learn how to be intuitive and perceptive of situations and people, because we definitely want to analyze things and we don't want to get hurt or put ourselves into situations where we feel stuck, or you feel like you do now. But we also want to figure out how to be the most authentic and pure person that you can be to attain your goals. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for you right now. You want to be passionate, you want to be loving and caring because that's who you are. And you want to go full force into relationships, into friendships, into business, into everything. But you've been burned, you've been hurt, you've been lied to. You've been caught up in situations that don't really fill your cup, or once again, add fuel to the fire. So you got to figure out that balance, and you got to do some inner work and figure out what your goals are, how you can be passionate and pure, but also be perceptive and intuitive, and not move so fast. Have that slow moving, like Knight of Cups energy. And underneath the Five of Cups, with not trusting kind of your ideas, your thoughts that ultimately lead to your actions because of the loss, because of the situation you're here, so it's the stress and everything that follows all of that. We go through all the steps of mental anguish and emotion when we have loss, when we have failure, when we get confused, when we don't trust ourselves. Underneath that, on the emotional plane, if you will, you have the Page of Wands. There is a way to move forward. There is potential. You're receiving a message that you are filled with that divine spark, that passion. And you have the ability to figure out a way to still be loving and caring and trusting, but also protective of yourself, and also looking at the big picture. How is this relationship? What does this look like? What does this friendship look like? What does the give and take look like? What does this job, this career, this business look like? What are my goals? And what am I looking at in the positive and the negative form? Are you okay with the compromise it takes to be in this relationship and work as a relationship, right? Are you going to make a lot of money, but you're going to work your ass off and not have time for, a whole lot of interactions with friends or your romantic partner? Are you going to get into a relationship that does feed into that passion, that love and everything, but is it really the right choice? Is that the right person for you? What are their goals? So the Page of Wands is giving you a message to pay attention, there's absolutely a path forward for you. There's absolutely growth. And getting back to feeding your soul and that spark inside of you, regaining your confidence, your courage, and everything. But there's some work to do. Now, I don't want you to lose the emotional aspect of sharing every bit of yourself with other people, working your ass off, being honest and completely pure with another or other humans. But there is a point in time when you have to be a protector for yourself. Now, let's see if we can tie in the thoughts and emotions here with a few more cards. So the Queen of Cups is someone that is very perceptive, very intuitive, very influential. It's a very emotional card. And if we're tying in the thoughts and emotions, this is someone that uses their heart and their mind in tandem to move forward, to progress, to achieve their goals, and balance everything out. Thinking about your emotional state, what you desire, what you need emotionally, what you are missing. And does it feed your passion? Does it feed your mind? Does it feed your goals? Thoughts and emotions can be very, if we're talking about the spectrum, the opposite ends, but they can be exactly the same too. You know, which comes first, the thought or the emotion? It depends. And then we have the devil. And I think the devil in this instance is releasing your ties to the past events. Now, I think with the Hermit card, you need to go back and look at maybe opportunities that you grabbed that weren't the best opportunity for you. Relationships that you jumped in too fast, whether it be romantic or friends, that you gave all your secrets to. You poured out your heart. You gave everything there, and you emptied your cup, and they didn't have enough in their cup, or they weren't willing to fill your cup back from their end. You know, I think the devil in this instance is your thoughts and emotions. And I talk about excess baggage a lot. You're bringing a lot of old pain, a lot of old sadness, a lot of old failure with you. Now, some of that is required, once again, for self-preservation, to protect yourself, to make sure you don't get into situations, if you can, if at all possible, to avoid loss, failure, hurt, sadness, right? But we don't want to always have that as a burden on our shoulders, as a binding where if we meet a certain person, whether it be romantic or a friend, we don't immediately think and feel past failures, past losses, and don't take the jump, take the leap, and start to develop a new relationship. Where if you have an opportunity with a job, with a career, with a business, yes, you analyze it, you look at it, you lay your cards out on the table, do the positive and the negative, but you don't talk yourself out of even looking at the opportunity. You immediately have those thoughts and emotions of past experiences that were negative for you, and you don't even take a chance. Meaning you don't even put it on paper and look at it, because it's a lack of confidence at that point. You feel like you lost your confidence, your courage, your bravery. So this reading about your thoughts and emotions, it's almost, do I do this? Do I do that? If I stay here? And I think that's what's going on right now. I'm going to pull one more card. Yeah. When I said, do I stay here? The Seven of Wands is staying in the same place, in the same job, in the same relationship, or relationships with friends, and kind of defending to yourself that it's easier to stay here. This is what I know. This is the job I know. This is the place I know. This is the relationship I know. These are the friends I know. It's easier in your mind, especially if you've lost confidence in yourself and your decisions, to stay where you are. Because essentially the devil you know feels a whole lot more comforting. You know how to address it than possibly a devil you don't know, right? And I think that the emotional swing that affects your thoughts up top that we talked about, the lack of kind of really knowing how to get back to your passionate self and trust your gut, trust your instincts and your intuition, has to do with, it's just more comfortable now, because if I take an action that's outside of what I'm doing now, I might get hurt. I might become sad. I might have loss. I might have failure. So you're at kind of that crossroads right now where you want to take the leap, but you don't want to fall off the cliff. You want to reach out your hand, but you don't want to get it slapped down. You have all this passion inside of you with a flame that feels like it's kind of dim. But you don't want to gather fuel and have it not burn, or have it burn out too fast. So you have to figure out, and it's going to be through introspection, how to work through the events that have affected you negatively on the mental and emotional plane. Learn from those. Take the positive aspects where I know I can do this in the future. I know I don't want to do that. But don't show up to work or to a relationship and start unpacking all your shit on the floor. Well, all right. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you dig the video, give it a like. If you're not subscribed, you enjoy the content, you can always subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want alerts when I release new material. And take care of yourself. Have an amazing day.